All right, welcome to my training sessions on Visio. Hope you guys are going to find this fun and maybe learn something that you can use. So let's start up Visio, and the first time you start it up, it's going to ask you what you want to do. And we're going to do something really simple. We're going to create a blank drawing. But you'll notice here that you can open up drawings you've already opened. You can use templates. We're going to talk about all that. But for right now, we're just going to start a blank drawing. And when the drawing starts out, it typically starts off in this orientation. So you can ignore all this for right now. But I'm just going to flip the orientation to landscape. I'm going to turn off auto size. And I'm going to go back to the home part of the ribbon. So what we have here is we have a Visio drawing, drawing 1. Down at the bottom here, we have a section where if you have multiple pages in the document, the page names will appear, kind of similar to Excel. If you click on the plus here, you can create new pages, so page 1, page 2, page 3. We can ignore this shape data for the moment. And then over here on the left side of the screen, we have a place where you can get shapes. So what is Visio? Well, at the end of the day, it's a way of drawing things. You can draw things of your own creation using some primitives. So over here on the home ribbon, you can pick from a very limited number of primitives. So you can draw rectangles, you can draw ellipses, and if you hold down, I think, the shift key, you can make them circles. You can draw lines, you can draw squiggly things, you can draw arcs, and you can use something called the pencil, which basically lets you draw line segments. So you can use these primitives to create your own shapes. Hard to do, very few people do it, unless you're making a custom shape. Or, instead of drawing something yourself, I'll just go to another page here, you can pick from a collection of shapes. These could be shapes you've created. They can be shapes that Visio provides. So on my machine, I have a whole bunch of shapes. Don't panic. So you can use shapes that Visio provides out of the box. For example, under the general category, they've got basic shapes, things that start you off with, things that are similar to what you can do with the primitives, but obviously a little bit fancier. There's some three-dimensional shapes. You can create shapes that have things called control points on them to where you can change the way they work. You can rotate shapes. And then in addition to the basic shapes, you've got a variety of different blocks you can use. You can use shapes that are related to different business categories, a bunch of different things for business processes. Microsoft occasionally ships here's things from the past of Operations Manager. They've got shapes for database, software, all sorts of different out-of-the-box shapes. In addition to that, you can create your own shapes. So why would you want to create your own shapes? Well, the out-of-the-box shapes are a great starting point, but what I have found over the years is it's hard to get people to understand what they mean in a consistent way. A square may mean one thing to you, it may mean an application, it may mean a general concept. So I've found it's advantageous to actually create my own shapes. You've heard me talk about making napkins, showing people a picture, or any sketch, and asking them, does this make sense to you? Instead of just describing something, you can actually show them something external to you. So I've made a variety of shapes that over the years I've gotten to use on a frequent basis. Let me show you a couple of those. So in a category called napkin making drawing annotations, I've created a bunch of shapes here that I use on a pretty regular basis. Some are not much different than the out-of-the-box shapes. There's a cloud. Maybe I've added a control point so you can move the text around. I often use a call-out. You've seen this in some of the annotations of the Agile template work. Some are to just quickly put something fun on the page, maybe indicate something's being thrown to the trash. This shape, you'll notice, pops up a dialog box. Look at the bottom of the shape. So the data, this is a note, appears on the bottom of the shape. You can edit in the shape data window. We'll learn a lot about that. Some of the shapes are collections of things. And once again, a dialog box pops up where when you drop the shape on, you can fill it in. So maybe this is a collection. I'll drop another one, a collection of animals, cat. So this is an animal collection containing cats. Pretty silly, I know. Some of them are things that you just want to, indicate a general flow. Some of them have indicators that you want to mark things with. So here it pops a dialog box that you can type in a value. You can change the size of the shape. You can change the text. And this is using the old way I did it, but so all sorts of different things. Some of the shapes can get quite fancy. So here's a collection of shapes that I've often used over the years to do quick architectural diagrams. This might be a basic application, Word, Visio. And this shape, as you can see, once again, provides some data. We'll go more into what you can use the data for. You can see the text sizes automatically with the size of the shape. Here's another shape that maybe people just get used to understanding. Oh, if it's got this little globe, that's a web application. Over here, you can type in text string, so maybe this is an MVC app. You can see it changes the value in this thing. A lot of these shapes have indicators on them, so you can mark them, so you can refer to people, look for item 17 on the page. So here we'll change this to 17 or maybe 17A. You can choose to hide the indicator, so you can drive the shape with data. In addition to having data associated with the shape, shapes can also have behavior. So let me give you an example of that. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new page here. And let's say we want to start stubbing out some different pages in this Visio drawing, but we don't want to have to go down here and create a page, and we want to create some links back and forth between the pages. So let me show you some things you can do. So here's a shape that lets you enter a page name. So let's say this is animals, and we'll talk more about these items in a minute, but I'm just going to fill in animals, and now I'm going to right click on this shape, and you can see here in the right click menu it says create page for shape. So I'm going to click on that, and you can see that down here we have a new page called animals. Something happened up here. There's a shape that says animals, which you'll notice is the same as the name of the page. And another shape got dropped on here called page 4. And well, that was the page we were on. So I'm going to hold down the control key. Hand turns into a pointer. I'm going to click on it. We go back to page 4. So I'm going to control D, duplicate this shape, which makes a copy and prompts me to enter some data. We'll change this to fruits, and I'm going to go ahead and delete the hyperlink. And I'm going to create another shape called cars. Same thing, I'm going to right click on fruits. Navigation link back to page 4. I'm going to right click on cars. Same thing, navigation thing. So now we've got 3 shapes that we can click on to navigate. These shapes have some data associated with them. We'll talk more about what the data is used for. And we can see that we're starting to get a collection of pages in our document. So let's go and look at a little bit more closely at some of the things that are going on here. Clicking on the cars page, there's this shape here called cars, and that came from the page shape stencil. It happened to be the 18-point header. I'm just going to drag another copy on. You'll notice it renames itself to the name of the page. I'm going to right click on the page, and I'm going to call this autos. Now watch what happens to those 2 shapes on the page that currently say cars. So in this case, there's code running in the background that detects a rename event and looks for shapes that have certain properties associated with them and will automatically change the values in those shapes. So we'll learn how to do that. Another thing is you may want to navigate to a different page in your drawing. You can click on a tab. If you start to get a lot of pages in your drawing, eventually you'll have too many pages and you'll have to scroll back and forth. So this all button, if you click on it, gives you the list of pages and you can go up and down and navigate to the page. But wouldn't it be nice if we could create maybe a table of contents giving us similar link points, like where was it, page 4, where we had this kind of scenario where we had clickable shapes that would let us navigate. Well, in this support tools ribbon, we'll talk more about that in the future, there's a button here that's called Add Table of Contents. It added a new page to the document, and on that page are shapes that have been added which match the names of the pages in the document. And if you click on these by holding down the control key to get the navigation hand, which basically invokes the hyperlink. So if I click on fruits, I go to the fruits page. If I go back to table of contents and click on animals, I go to the animals page. Well, another thing that would be nice is if we had a way of maybe navigating among the pages in a consistent way. So I'm going to create a new page here. I'm going to rename it, and I'm going to call it navigation links. Doesn't really matter what it's called. I'm going to right click on it. I'm going to make it a background page. We'll talk more about why that's useful in a minute. And I'm going to drag this shape here that says table of contents link. And if we click on it, it navigates us to the table of contents. So on this page, we've got a link to the table of contents page. Wouldn't it be nice if we could put that link, table of contents, on all the pages? Well, because this link appears on the navigation link page, if you click on, let me go to page 4 here, and you click on this navigation links button, it adds any shapes that are on the navigations link page to the current page. So if we go to page 3, that link isn't there, but if we click on navigation links, it appears. Well, the exact same thing is also in this document action section. This is page action. This is the document action section. So if you click on nav links, what it will do is it'll add anything that's on the navigation links page, and it very much looks for that name, to all of the different pages. So that's a way that you can get a quick shortcut back to the table of contents page, and then from there you can go to different pages. So I'm just once again holding down the control key and navigating. So we've got behavior on the pages, behavior on the shapes, we've got code behind, and taking all those together is what lets you build powerful shapes that can really meet your business needs. So hopefully this is just a small taste of some of the things that are coming in this training class. So what we're going to do next is go into a little bit of detail to help you get organized so you can start creating your own shapes in something called stencils. Stencils can be part of a template, which is a starter for a document. That's what we're going to cover next.